Live.
Hi there, Joyce at Delightful Quilting and Sewing, a Nolting dealer in Avon, New York. I had a request a few weeks ago from someone that wanted some information on how to adjust the axles on their Nolting machines. And just by chance, a couple of weeks ago, we had a call from one of our own customers that was having a problem. And she has a Nolting CLX machine. And what was happening, I guess it's just a pro. Anyway, what was happening was she was finding that her axle had gotten really wobbly. And I said, well, probably the screw came out. So I walked her through what to do and how to get everything back together again and how to adjust it. And before I start, I would just like to let you know that in our book, Guide to Quilting with Your Nolting, there is a section on maintaining and adjusting different components of your machine. So on page 75 are instructions for adjusting the axles on your Nolting machine. So before we start, the process is going to be the same regardless of whether you have a fun quilter on a steel stretch frame or a Hindenburg, or whether you have a machine on a standard commercial frame. So just taking a look at the axles that we have here, there's several different styles that are found on Nolting machines. This particular style with a flat plate on it, like this, has a ridge on it, and these are found on the Hindenburg frame because they ride in the groove on a channel that's on the carriage on the Hindenburg frame. This particular style right here is indented. These are the new ones that you find on the steel stretch frame. There's a ridge right here on the carriage that the machine rides on top of. So it needs this type of axle to ride on that ridge. And then if you have a regular machine on the regular frame, again, there's two different types of axles that you find. If your machine is an older machine, it probably has this larger axle with a plate on it where there's 4 screws. Or if it's the newer style, instead of this large round axle, it's a square axle like this, with the kind of wheels that would go inside of the channel. These are the kind of wheels that ride inside the channel. On all of these, regardless of whether it has a flat plate or whether it's the square one like this, you will find a rubber bushing. The piece of rubber has the holes in it, and it goes on the top side and cushions the axle, between the axle and the bottom of the machine. And on the square one, like this, still a rubber bushing goes in there and it cushions the axle. And this helps to minimize the vibration of the machine as it's running. The screws that are used in these axles, again, are going to be determined by whether you have a larger square axle like this. It's going to take a longer screw to go through the axle, through the bushing, and to screw into the machine. Or if you have the plate type of axle with the 4 screws, the screw is a shorter screw, you're bushing, and the screw goes in like that and screws into the bottom of the machine. The tools that you're going to be using is really just an Allen, a hex head. You can get them as Allen wrenches, or you can get them as a type of screwdriver. It's a 5/32 is what you will need to fit into the screw head that you have here. And these are fine thread screws. So we're going to trade places here, and I'm going to take the camera, and my husband is going to get down on his knees. No, he's not going to propose to me again. That was quite a few years ago. And he's going to show you how to adjust the axles. Now, looking up underneath, we've got this. This is the Pro, and we've got it pulled forward as far as it will come. And you can just insert the hex head driver into the screw and you can tighten it up, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, or you can use an Allen wrench to do the same thing. Now, one of the important things about tightening this up, with that rubber bushing in there, you could keep cranking and cranking and cranking, and you're going to really compress that rubber bushing. You do not want to do that. That bushing has a purpose there to cushion the machine and to take care of any vibration in the system. You want those screws to be snug. And in fact, when I put the axles on, I snug them up real good, and then I back it off just a little bit, because that bushing, if it's too tight, will not do its job. So Ron's illustrating there, just tightening it up and backing it back off. He'll do that again. So he tightens it up so that it's snug, and then he backs it off like a quarter of a turn, just to give it a little more cushion there. So it's important to check these screws on a regular basis, because with the vibration of the machine running over, you know, several years of working, they do loosen up and they will fall out. We have serviced machines and found that screws were almost falling out or had fallen out. And once you get everything tightened up, there's one more thing that you need to do to check what's going on here, and we call it the rock. Basically, you take a hold of the handles and you try to rock the machine. And if you get it to rock, you know, if one side comes up, you know, you're not picking it up, you're just taking the handles and kind of lifting up and down, back and forth across it to see if there's any rock. If you're getting rocking, you need to go through a little bit more of adjustment. For example, if one side rocks up, then you need to loosen the screw on that side a little bit to let the axle down a little bit so that it will take the rock out of it. So adjusting the screws in the back, I'll let Ron walk around to the back, but one of the things that we did to make it easier, you can see that I've got the roller cranked all the way up to 5, and by doing that, it gave more space in the throat area so that we could pull the machine farther to the front. So working at the back axles are pretty close to the back of the carriage and may even be right at the back of the carriage. So again, it's the same thing. You want to check and make sure that they're tight enough. You want them to be snug. And then you want to back it off about a quarter of a turn.
A little less, maybe.
Maybe a little less than a quarter of a turn to make sure that that cushion, that rubber bushing, is going to do its job. And even at the back of the machine, when we're done adjusting, we'll do the rocking test back here. Take a hold of the handles and try to rock the machine. This one doesn't rock. It's adjusted well. So that's basically it. And taking care of the axles, making sure that your screws are tight. You know, they talk about the loose screw. Well, the loose screw here can be something that really can be a problem, especially if it comes loose and falls out. And with our customer, the axle was wobbling around underneath her machine. So she got it all fixed up, called me back and said, it works great. So check your screws, make sure you don't have any loose screws, and you'll be good for using your machines. Yeah, my husband is putting the driver up to his head and tightening his screws there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week on Tech Tuesday. Have a great week quilting.